Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Tara with Simply Made Eats, and today we are making this yummy cheesy hash brown casserole. This recipe is so good. It is the perfect Easter side dish, especially if you don't want to spend a ton of time making scalloped potatoes. This recipe goes perfect with that big ham that you're going to serve this year. So let's get started with this easy recipe. Okay, so first we're going to get started by chopping up a half of a yellow onion and just a couple garlic cloves. The funny thing about this recipe is this is actually one of the first recipes I ever learned how to make. I took like this food nutrition class in, I think I was like in 10th grade, and me and my best friend Alex made this recipe. It wasn't as good as this one because we used like frozen potatoes and we didn't do the topping and everything, but it was really similar. So it's pretty funny to be making it again today. I pretty much like since I was out of high school, I really wanted to have my own cooking show. I never went to culinary school, but I went to every other school. I did all kinds of stuff when I finished school, but now I kind of have like my own cooking show thanks to YouTube. All right, and we want to really dice this nice and fine. We're not cooking them before we bake them, so they're just gonna bake in the casserole. I always like to keep like a little bowl on the side just so I can throw all my trash in from the onion peels and the garlic. I knew my dog was gonna start yapping soon. He always does this. We have like an 8-month-old puppy and he's such a stinker. We finally got a fence in the backyard, so that's been really helpful. But other than that, he drives me crazy. Love him though. And just keep the garlic separate because we are going to use this for our topping. And you want to mince this up as fine as you can. Next, we're just going to grate some cheese. I've just got an 8-ounce block of mild cheddar. And if you want to save time, you can definitely go ahead and buy the bagged kind. I prefer like a block of cheese just because it doesn't have the preservatives like the anti-caking agents they put in bags, and it just seems like it melts a lot better, more creamy, but it's totally up to you. Okay, so next we're just gonna go ahead and preheat our oven to 375 degrees. Next, we're gonna go ahead and grease a 9x13 pan. You can do a smaller one if you want a deeper casserole, and I'm just using a stick of butter. You can also use vegetable spray here, whatever's easier. Then go ahead and dump those Simply potatoes in. These are just the classic hash browns, no seasoning, just the plain hash browns. You can also use frozen here, but I really prefer the Simply potatoes if you can find them. Then add in cheddar cheese. You want to save just a little bit just to top the top of the casserole with. Next, we're going to add in some cheddar cheese Campbell's soup. This is pretty much the only recipe that you'll catch me using Campbell's soup in, but this is just a classic and you just got to have it. You can also use cream of chicken soup here if you had that on hand instead. Then we're going to add in our sour cream. This is my favorite ingredient on this recipe. Next, we've got those diced onions. And then we're gonna add in just a little bit of salt and pepper. You wanna stir this up. It can be a little bit tricky. You might wanna use a bigger bowl than me. Make sure you get all the ingredients incorporated. Then you're just gonna put this right into the dish. And use your spoon to just spread it into an even layer. And and then top it with that extra cheese. Just a quick tip for you guys, if you're serving more than like 4 or 5 people, especially at Easter and people like really plan on eating, I would definitely do 2 casserole dishes. These also go really good for leftovers, so you can always like eat it later. Better safe than sorry. Okay, so this next step is really optional. You can go ahead and bake it just like it is. That's how I used to do it. Now I like to add a little bit of snaz to it though, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a garlic butter and panko breading topping on it. A lot of people, especially here in the South, will do a butter and cornflake topping, which is totally up to you. You can do whatever you want. But we are gonna go ahead and melt 4 tablespoons of butter in a skillet on medium heat. Once the butter melts, go ahead and just toss in those couple of garlic cloves that we minced up. We're just gonna cook these until they're nice and fragrant, about 60 seconds or so. Once those get nice and toasty, we're gonna add in the panko. And I like to just use a wooden spoon to just toss this around. Make sure all the butter is in, kind of just soaked right into that panko. We're just gonna let this toast for about a minute. It'll get nice and crispy when it's in the oven on top of our hash brown casserole. And this recipe is called like a lot of different things. People call it party potatoes. I've heard it called funeral potatoes, which I don't really like that. It makes me kind of sad. So I like to just call it cheesy hash brown casserole because that's what it is. All right, those are looking really good. Then we're gonna come back to our potatoes and just sprinkle it over the top. Make sure you get all that garlic. Then you can just use your hand or you can use that wooden spoon and just spread this out really good. Yum. Okay, now this is gonna bake in the oven for about 30 minutes. Then we'll pull off the foil and cook it for another 10. Y'all should smell my house right now. It smells so good. All right, these are like piping hot. You do wanna let these cool for about 10 or 15 minutes before you serve them. They're gonna go so fast. These are so good. That's it, we're all done with this cheesy hash brown casserole. I hope you guys decide to make it. If you do, make sure you leave me a comment and let me know how yummy it was. If you're looking for more Easter side dishes, make sure to check out my glazed carrot recipe. It's always really popular for Easter and it's super good too, and really easy. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time. Make sure to subscribe so we can keep cooking together. Bye.